video game noises. Hi Leviwand fam, I'm here with some Leviwand restringing cheat codes today. So typically for restringing Leviwands, it's recommended to have a single continuous loop with both your Leviwand and your palm grip hanging on the string, and then just a single knot, and that way the string can kind of move somewhat continuously, and it makes it so that your string itself doesn't wear out as quickly and won't have to be replaced as often. However, if you are like me and you're constantly changing out string types or string sizes, or even if you happen to change the types of handles you like on your Leviwand quite frequently, this may not be the best option for you, because having to take this whole thing apart and then restring it all over again with a new string can be very time consuming. If you are just wanting to string your Leviwand in a way that allows for you to switch out handles easily from like a palm grip to like a loop to like just the string itself, one thing I would recommend is doing this still continuing to do this same kind of thing where you have a continuous string going through your Leviwand here, but for the handle, instead of stringing it along the string, actually just putting it on a carabiner, so that way you can have no handle and have a nice illusion-y string, or you can get ready for tosses by just clipping that handle on real nice and quick, and you don't have to be restringing and restringing constantly. Other things I mentioned when changing a string out frequently was the idea of changing out the length of string fairly frequently. If you're like taking several Leviwand classes and one is long string and one is short string, or maybe you're just doing some experimenting on your own, having one continuous loop through your Leviwand means you're going to have to restring every single time you want a new length. However, another alternative way that might be a little bit easier if you're not planning to keep the same string on for a super long period of time is actually going to be something like this. We're going to start out with some Technora. You could easily get it off Amazon and possibly also at the hardware store. And what you're going to do is you're just going to cut a very small piece of string. You're going to take this little piece of string and you're going to thread it through your Leviwand like so. And then you are going to just tie it off here. And so before I cut the strings off, it looks a little bit like this. It's kind of just loosely tied around the Leviwand. The shortest of short strings, so to speak. Next, you're going to take these little guys here that you can find in the fishing section, and they're just like tiny little clips with swivels on them. They can look kind of like this. I'll hold it up so you can see. And what you're going to do is you're now going to take the length of string that you actually want to wand with. In this case, I already have a length of string pre-cut. You're going to tie the swivel onto that string. And then we're going to take our fishing swivel here. We're going to unclip it by pushing in and out, and it kind of releases it. And then we are just going to hook it onto our wand like so, and press it back in to reattach it. And then now you have your wand restrung. If you've seen any of my past videos, you'll know that sometimes the string or ribbon I like to flow with is actually super thick. And this thick ribbon is not going to fit through this really small hole here. So we are going to start out again with that same trick of using a smaller string tied around your Leviwand. However, instead of string, we're going to be using these 2 spools of ribbon. And I have 2 spools here, about 1.5 inches thick, and the 2 spools together are going to be about the size I would want for a long string. And I'm basically going to be unspooling these and then sewing these 2 ends together to make a much longer ribbon. After running this under the sewing machine a couple of times until you have it nice and sturdy, you're then going to cut this little bit here down. So now that we have one long ribbon, the ribbon itself is not going to fit through the hole in my Leviwand. So what we are going to do instead is we are going to cut 2 smaller pieces of this Technora thread here, and we're going to sew it to either side of the ribbon. First I sewed it lengthwise across ways like here to secure it down. And then now I'm going to sew down the length of it. So that way it's going to be super secure on my ribbon. So we're going to take our 2 end pieces here and we're going to tie a fishing swivel to them, similar to what we did with the string in the last part of our video. And then we take our clip and we're just going to clip it on. And ta-da! Lovey ribbon! I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day.